Take a look at the board. Black is worse. White is much better. He has a dominant queen on e5. The e6 pawn is very strong. Material is even. His knight on c5 is superbly placed. My queen on g5 is hanging, and my bishop on f5 is pinned. His rook on f1 is on a very strong line. His rook on e1 is defending the e6 pawn. Everything of white is good. Everything of black is awkward and pinned. And to be honest with you, I had the black pieces in this game. I was 12 years old when I played this game, back in 1989. It was in the national championships, and my opponent was Michael Granne. He went to the Hunter School, which was actually our main rival. And the coach of Hunter is Sunil Waramentry, a fantastic coach, and he always had his kids very well prepared. They never actually beat me, but a lot of times they came close. And in this game, Michael had me on the ropes. I had the black pieces, and here I came up with a very, very long, deep calculation to try to save the game. I began with rook f6. Starting to circle his e6 pawn. This is a temporary piece sacrifice, but I'd calculated things way out. His logical move is knight d7. That's what he played. He's removing my defender of the f5 bishop. Now I want you to stop and calculate things out. Black to move. I'll even tell you what move to look at. Rook f takes e6. But it looks like I'm just losing a piece. See how far you can calculate. Take your time. Don't go on until you think you see the answer. So first of all, we see that white can't play queen takes f5, because after queen takes f5, rook takes f5. I just win the game. Rook takes e1. He's lost a rook. So Michael's idea was rook takes f5. Very strong. What did I have in mind? First of all, you see that rook takes e5 is impossible. What was white's idea here? Mate in 1. Rook f8. That'd be a bad way to lose a chess game. So my idea was queen takes f5, sacrificing my queen. Queen takes f5. Rook takes e1 check. I had calculated that I can force at least a draw here. He plays king f2. Now I'm down a piece. A queen and knight against two rooks is a huge material advantage for white. Plus white is threatening queen f8 mate. But I played rook 1 to e2 check. The point is if he goes back to f1 or g1, we'll just repeat again. Rook e1 check, and it's a draw. I had been in big trouble, so I'd be happy with that. So he played king f2. I played rook e2. He tried to get out of checks. King g3. Do you see what I played with black? Rook 2 to e3 check. He kept on marching. King h4. White is trying to get out of checks. And I had calculated this position all the way out when I played rook f6. What was my idea here? My point was that in this position I have the powerful rook f7. A quiet move. I'm chasing his queen off of the defense of the d7 knight. I could never play this variation if I hadn't seen rook f7 from the very beginning. But something strange happened now. His queen can't defend the knight, because if it goes to g4, you see what I play? Rook e4, winning the queen. He played knight f6 check. He's got to give up the piece, so he did it right away. And now something happened which is kind of typical in chess, except it took me a surprisingly long time to figure it out. When we're playing chess or playing basketball or anything, sometimes we get emotional, and sometimes our emotions color our judgment. In this position I played rook takes f6. He played queen c8 check. I played king f7. He played queen takes c7 check. And we agreed for a draw. Okay, this is a nice story. It's logical. I had a bad game. He was much better. I found a very long combination to draw the game. But you know, when I was looking at this game, preparing it for ChessMaster, I noticed that in the final position, I'm much better. Now, I played this game 10 years ago, and it's been published in a lot of places. And no one ever mentioned that black is, in fact, much better in this position. After I bring my rook back to e7, all my pawns are defended. His queen has to move. Say he plays queen c8. Take a look at the position. I have two rooks against a queen. First of all, with numbers, we know that a rook is worth 5 and a queen is worth 9, so I have a material advantage of about a pawn, 10 to 9. But beyond that, his king is very weak on h4. Let's evaluate this position. Two rooks are slightly better than a queen. That's without any question. But why didn't I continue to play this position? Why did I accept a draw? The reasons are interesting, and there are two of them. First of all, I was emotional. I had been losing all game. I had been struggling very hard to try to save the game. So when the time finally came when I was better, I didn't even see it. I was so relieved to take the draw. But the second point is also strange. When I was younger, I didn't really understand that 2 rooks were as good as a queen, or better, because the queen moves, very far, very powerfully. And I think this is true about a lot of kids. And I'm sure a lot of you who are listening to this game, you like the queen more than you like 2 rooks, because she's much easier to handle. She's much trickier, there are lots of tactics, but in fact, the 2 rooks are tremendously powerful. So what I want you to do is I want you to stop in this position. Look at ideas like h6 with the idea of g5. Imagine hiding your king on h7, and then using the 2 rooks to try to go after the white king. Imagine putting a black rook on g6 so that your king is completely safe, and then using the other rook to roam all over the board, attacking pawns and attacking the white king. Black has a tremendous position, but I didn't realize it. No one ever told me either. It's a funny thing in this position. I accepted a draw in a very good position, and I didn't discover it for 10 years. So remember, when you're feeling that you're emotional in the game, it's okay to be emotional, but take a deep breath before making a big decision. Make sure you're seeing things for what they are, and not what they appear to be.